All right, guys. You can't imagine whom I am onboarding today. These three ladies, they are representing an extraordinary company, an extraordinary endeavor, and they're the most epical people on this planet to me. Three sisters, straight from Ibiza, born in Lithuania, doing this massive, massive net positive work and impact to humanity. So welcome, ladies, Eva, Agla, Leonora, to the CO World Record.
Hello, Laura. Nice to be here and be welcomed by you. Thank you for inviting and trusting us.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
All right, so let's move now to the to our conversation. I thought, how do I want to take our dialogue? And I know that all three of you, you come from really different backgrounds, and still as sisters, you are actually curating this amazing, journey of yours, and you are always together. And you, it seems, from outside that you all of you found roles in your kind of company and etc. But what really triggers me it is to understand if you could go back in time and let us know what triggered three of you actually to to feel the cause of what you are doing and make those brave decisions back many years ago and step into something absolutely unknown and like really surrender to your highest calling of what you do, guys. What were those triggers in your life that made you kind of take those decisions?
Who wants to start?
I think Agla, you are the best in it.
Here we go. I thought Leonora will start with her journey because we kind of jammed on the way. So it was maybe you want to just start from your searches and then we'll weave in with Yeva how we joined
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
call.
actually, it would be great to make from the long story a shorter version. And let's see how it's going to happen. But yeah, it's true. These triggers when I was a law, I was studying law, and I was going already graduating university and going into the practice to be a lawyer, to become a lawyer, and really faced not very clean and clear, let's say, reality the way I imagined to be a lawyer. That triggered me a lot. Therefore, I turned to entrepreneur and created a creative movement as a producing company. So I was working with talents and really protecting young people from being abused in, let's say, show business. And that was really motivating me. But in terms of that world, which is called show business, it really showed me a lot how much we are as humans, we are lost in this imaginary world and images in terms of like be deepening our soul journeys and getting to know ourselves. So that brought me into very deep, deep pain, and that brought me into a near-death experience as well. So life really shook me up very strongly, and of course prepared me for that. Of course, nothing happens without a reason. So the experience of being a lawyer, the experience of being an entrepreneur in the show business brought me a lot of depth in terms of pain and understanding that this is not the way I want to see the world. This is not the way I want to serve the world. And that connection that brought me back, let's say, connection with death, connection with other side brought me depth and clarity so that I could see other human souls. I started to really feel the deep pain, not only in me. Apparently, it's to everyone. It doesn't matter if one really understand that or not, but it actually the whole world is in that pain. So that really encouraged me to go on a journey and really leave my ego world behind and really get to know myself. Who am I? What I'm here for? What is my greatest and biggest purpose would be if I would be myself. Therefore, it has been created this Be You. Now it grew into Now Be You Global, a movement and co-creation with my sisters and of course bigger team. And this is where we went into soul's evolution journey. So that was my a little journey going into this as we went together with my sisters. But of course, all of us, we started very differently and very separated from different angles of our life stories.
I love actually the way you phrase that you face death, because I as well so much believe that in order to be reborn, you have to die first, because that opens a certain kind of void where you are losing your defined identity and you suddenly are everything and nothing and everybody and nobody, and that gives, I don't know, it's just, for me, to me it gives enormous courage, and then I just simply understand that I am the ultimate creator of everything, right, in that space. Thank you, Leonora, for sharing. It's just such an epic story. And Agle, Eva, how, like, what were the triggers for you guys to join Leonora? Agle, we can maybe start from you, if that is easier for me to point you.
Yeah, for me, was like since my childhood, I always had this, dream to help also others, and that no one would fight around, and everyone would do nice things and just be happy. And I was like a pure child thinking why people, make fights and why they don't help each other. And I was always involved in so many NGOs and volunteering activities, and always wanted to make a change and to help somehow, others. So for me, it was very naturally that I was always part of some kind of projects helping others. But also at the same time, I have a strong character. I'm a Leo, and I was really career and ego driven, I would say. Not to the extent that I was really egoistic, but let's say I really wanted to reach goals. I was really passionate. I was a top student and so on. So I was reaching everything what I, planned and set my goals very quickly. And I ended up in multinational organization very quickly, and, going career ladder. But all these purpose questions never left me, I would like to do more things, more nice things. I would like to contribute somehow to the world. I mean, I was open already to see all the problems and what's happening. And early on in my actually career journey, I understood that I'm part of these problems. So for me, it started like clashing my ego and my soul at that time conversation, what I'm doing there, creating just more things and selling more things that the world actually doesn't need. So it was really a big, I would say, fight inside, because externally I was really successful, and internally I was already going on these retreats, journeys, emotional intelligence courses together with my sisters. We started doing first retreats in Lithuania, and organizing these lectures and some workshops that, people were still kind of hiding that they're even talking about soul journeys or meditating. So at that time it was really not popular. And so I was in between these two worlds. I would work, in the office, and then after work we would have these calls and think of, how we can contribute, and how can we spread this message. And it just naturally kind of turned into me leaving that career and stepping, into a knowingness at that time. And I said, okay, I have some savings and I'll figure something out. I gave myself a little bit time to, and then I knew I have to invest more time into whatever we want to create in order to grow it. So it was not so easy, but a natural step if I wanted to actually take a leap of faith. Yeah.
And there's one thing I have to tell that, Agle, about the way I perceive your personality and your kind of soul. It is that it's very rarely you see that there is a human being who is merging beautifully two worlds into one. And to me, you are like I don't even know, the master of that, merging both the linear and that non-linear. So we're going to speak about that later on. You're a genius in that.
Yeah.
And Eva, what's your path?
Yeah, so probably from early days, right after the university, I think I just really fell in love as well with the corporate world and the business and the career and the international opportunities. I was always very open-minded, and for me, only Lithuania was not enough. So I just decided, or in general decided, and also stepped into the exploring new cultures, new, let's say, challenging myself, going and living abroad, completely opposite side of the world, like Costa Rica and so on. But coming back to Lithuania, and what, how did I, continue with my evolution? So after spending like a little bit similar like Agle, but spending quite a few years in the corporate world, I actually discovered that for me, the human relations are the most important thing. And actually, growth and development of the individual is the most powerful, let's say, tool. So I chose the human resources path, and there I could kind of realize myself and kind of could see how can I support and help the people, till I also went into this kind of rabbit hole where I really experienced or was really close to the burnout, and really seeing that, well, even though I'm in a nice and good and caring environment, corporate environment, I still see that it's not enough. The structure is still very masculine. There is a lot of competition and so on. And I really felt, I felt this calling. I want to contribute more. That's why I also joined together with my sisters, and we started to work in parallel, on really also supporting and let's say helping the same corporate women on that I was one of them. So that's how I joined, and kind of involved both waves, both corporate world, let's say, and my personal abilities and skills through the Now Be You purpose and vision.
Wow, you three of you is just a living legacy, ladies. A book of wisdom, absolutely, in this planet Earth. Let's go to the world record question. I know that you are now going globally, and that's absolutely what you were. I mean, to me, I mean that's how I see you. And world is one, and I mean Ibiza is a beautiful place to fly to and meet you. And I know that you are as well traveling all over the world. But let's go to the world record question. And knowing that you are guys curating this global movement to awaken souls and to do more things with that. So, how is then the world better off? Because BU, global movement, is in it. Maybe Leonora, you can answer that question.
Yeah, actually, that's our universal salary, how we call after any retreat, any let's say big online course we take, or some private one-to-one consultations. It's always the same, to see a huge shift in the person, can be in the company, or can be in the family, can be in the daily life, one-on-one personalities, just to look how pain transforms into love, and to see that we can face any phase of the reality in one's life, because we've been taught not to cry, not to show our bad emotions, not to speak about it, not to express it, and it's so on, that it continues to be blockages, and continues to be traumas, and continues to be basically projections onto others. And our beautiful results and universal salary is to see smiles, to see huge shifts with the small steps, and to see love in everyone's eyes. So that's really specific, what is really makes me happy, and it makes me basically work and continue work and be passionate about it.
Oh, this is just epic. I mean, awakening love within the people, transforming pain. Yeah, pain to love. Yeah, because there's just so many traumas in the world, and we are a part of that. I mean, the cause behind that, most
Totally.
likely. Yeah. I wonder as well, because that's your world record was created with the aim to be vulnerable enough and brave enough to start calling things as they are is in a corporate world that was kind of created 100 years ago, where it was not allowed to speak that, is the decisions aligned with me? We've been looking at the deadlines, we've been looking at the KPIs, we've been looking at masculine structure, very pragmatic, very linear. I'm not saying that that is not needed, but there are far more beyond elements or spaces where a human potential can evolve when there is not that type of pressure, I would say, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so how do you guys, because you are yourself in business, we are ourselves in business, and still at the end of the day, we want to eat, we want to produce wealth. I wouldn't call it profit, but wealth, so we can, kind of live it in a dignity and things like that. And the question would be how, like, what type of practices maybe within your team you are practicing or kind of embodying that helps you to stay anchored to that audacious impact of yours from turning kind of pain to love. Agle, can I ask you to share
Mm-hmm.
now?
For me, it's like, I mean, we have many practices, of course, because our whole life is basically a personal development journey. We never stopped or going to stop. So we are on a ongoing learning and growth journey. That's what I love, because this is really part of our everyday life. So we don't have a separate, let's say, this is life and this is work balance. It's like a weaving in. So it's of course a lot of gratitude, first of all, from for what we have already, what we created, for where we are. Always finding, around ourselves what to be grateful for, and there is so much to be grateful for. Manifesting and creating, these new visions where we want to be. Meditation, of course, is part of a tool, let's say, what we use. And also a lot of always, just simple let's say talking, but always looking at ourselves and feedbacking to each other, so that we are not I mean, we overcome any ego issues or anything that's on the way, because of course it's happening through the years, different situations, different people. And but what we have in the team, we are constantly analyzing ourselves, first of all, not only talking about others, how we, the clients, could be better or whatever it is outside, but first of all looking at ourselves. What have we done? Where have we grown? Where's the decision coming from? How do we feel about it, and where's that leading us? So always coming back first to us, to ourselves.
Mhm. Mhm.
Thank
And if I
you.
can add here, it's
Sure.
really very important how are we feeling about this, right? I mean, it is so important to start from your own. And while me working with other organizations and corporates or business organizations, I really realize how easy it is to say what I have done bad or what I haven't done, to criticize also myself and also others, while to really stop and reflect and say, okay, but what have I achieved? What am I proud of? What can I be grateful for? What have I learned? Right? And finding every day, finding these positive insights and really sharing them. So I feel myself very, very funny, but in a way, I think this is also reality, how our businesses are shifting towards more positivity, but not always is able to receive so much positivity, or let's say so much also feedback about, okay, so let's focus on our strengths. Let's see what are we good at, and where, what are our joys, and really how can we foster that, rather than really sticking on our, where are we not enough. So this is a very interesting reflection, that we are starting from ourselves first, and then also bringing to other businesses or to other clients' lives.
There's one question resonating with me a lot. When Agle, you've said the question like where that decision is coming from. Can we elaborate a little bit about like what do you mean when you ask yourself, guys, specifically that question? Are you looking for like the feeling in the body, understanding the, like, is that coming from fear? What, how are you testing that out?
Yeah, it's a lot, I would say, to do with intuition. And the more you connect with your inner self and your inner journey, the easier and the more precise, let's say, intuition it is. And as you say, sometimes it's just a feeling in your, like this gut feeling, right? That everyone kind of heard about it by now, I guess. And then, yeah, others, you can do the different body tests, let's say, or, just closing your eyes and actually tuning in through a simple meditation with yourself. But for me, it's really about what Leonora was mentioned before, why we feel the world is better because we are in it. It's, for me, I believe that every person has to connect with their, let's say, mission or their passion, what they came here for. And once we know that journey, it's really, really clear and easy to check, are we on the right path? Exactly, where is the decision coming from? Is it just from outside because I'm comparing myself to others? Is it from the ego because I want more? Is it because I learned this model, or is it because the whole world is doing like that? Or is it really part of my truest self? If I'm, vulnerable to accept that this is my path in this lifetime. It's not always easy. Like, if we're talking to you right now, we are all in this journey as well, checking and going back and forth. And it's just easier once you're on the path and you don't kind of lose your focus.
I love that question, and what Eva you shared, it's really amazing. And knowing that you all are kind of so awakened, I would say, and you have that pure energy, and you are vulnerable and really, really courageous as this female team of entrepreneurs. I want to ask you, how would you see the world, different in 100 years from now, if you could like really loosen yourself up and really dream audaciously big, knowing what type of impact you are creating? And there are so many other people on this planet as well, delivering massive changes. How do you project the world 100 years from now in the ideal scenario? Leonora, can I ask you?
Thank you for this question. I think we should ask every day ourselves this question, and especially in politics and anywhere else, because we have the most powerful thing in our hands is our thoughts, our mind. And therefore, there is a lot of innovation in that, as we know. So it's like manipulation and so on, and where we should believe or not. So basically, to think about it, we basically empower the world to become it. Yeah. As in 100 years, I totally believe that, let's say, in the greatest picture, that everyone is aware that they are creators, first of all. And everyone is totally responsible for their thoughts, their actions, their ideas, and their basically ripple effect from every single moment once we open our eyes and even we dream. So that's definitely makes the whole world totally different place. Yeah. So I see the world totally nourished with the water, with the food, collectively connected, and totally co-creatively working for our dreams. Everyone is becoming themselves, not what they're supposed to be or somebody told them to be, but everyone is living and embodying their dreams, their soul's roles, their realities, the way they came here to embody, with no limitations, with no projections, with no punishment. It's just accepting each other and living their own true selves. So in short terms, it's like if we say one sentence, actually, if one is aware that I am a creator of my own reality, is already enough to understand that the world totally gonna be a different place, and is a different place in 100 years.
Wow, thank you, Leonora. It's a piano drop, as I say. Nothing more is needed to be said. And I have the last question. Um, uh, that world record been curated from the question that was delivered by Paul Polman and Andrew Winson, former leaders of Unilever. And in their book, they speak about soulful and soulless companies or corporations or entrepreneurship. And I feel that probably every second, it can be female or male, it doesn't really matter. Every second leader feels not good, like not maybe comfortable about bringing that word or definition to the company. Meanwhile, in reality, we as humans, we are carrying that. I mean, soul is a part of us, right? And it's a collective as well, soul as well, and things like that. So, what I want to kind of discuss with you, it is how would you see the difference between an entrepreneurship endeavor, a company, an ecosystem that has the soul in it and the one that is soulless. I know I'm asking to, black and white, but sometimes that our brain needs that to distinguish. Eva, could I ask you to share that, your initial thoughts?
Yeah, maybe I can start giving some drops and then give it to Agle, as she's really, I know, very passionate as well about this. So, yeah, probably, soul. I think this word makes us a little bit sometimes to stop and listen and sometimes even question, what is it? Do I see it? Do I feel it? Like in the business, we like to see and feel tangible things, right? So when you are bringing such concepts, it's at the beginning, it creates a little kind of question in our head. But those who already daring to be themselves, those who are already daring to go for their dreams, I think they are already connected to their soul vision, soul dream, and soulful business. So I believe, and I also already start seeing more and more companies moving towards this direction. And I think that soulful business, or the business that has a soul, is basically creating an environment where everyone can find a place to be himself or herself and to thrive, to really believe in themselves, right? And really have a possibility to live their dream, to live their true self. So vice versa, with a soulless business, I would say would be a very, very, rigid structure where there is no creativity, no expansion, and very, very clear directions where no interpretation should be made. But I want to believe that these businesses are not existing, or they are less and less existing every day. And we are really moving very fast towards soulful businesses with a bigger purpose. Yeah.
Thank you, Eva.
For
Agla,
me, just maybe to
Leonora?
add on the
Sure.
Yeah, just a little bit add on top. The soulful businesses for me, first of all, is live, regenerative, and yeah, they're basically live with all the processes they are, and also connected with a higher mission and with their soul purpose. So first of all, is those businesses who are asking, what is the bigger meaning of my company? What is the bigger, why we are doing this every day? So as long as this, regenerative, live, and constantly upgrading themselves, that's the soulful journey. The soulless is already the past. This is how I see the old hierarchies, the old structures that are not movable, the damaging industries, and so on. So this is something like we're, I think, already left us behind, I would like to say. And of course, we are all only focusing on that vision into the future.
Thank you. And I have a twist of that question to Leonora, because I know your answer is going to be simply profound. And that's what the world needs from this CEO World Record Initiative. Leonora, knowing that there are so many leaders listening to this initiative and will be listening throughout the many, many years. And probably, we can imagine that there is a female or a male leader, and they are, sitting and thinking that, they feel that their soul is calling for that. They want to really tap into this really high emission or impact, but somewhere still they are sitting on the fence. And that fence can be a lot of different fears, like, I'm afraid to be rejected by the board. Who am I to make this happen? Many various things. What would be your guidance to encourage people to loosen up and take those courageous steps and open up themselves and find that love within themselves to pour that into the ecosystem?
Yeah, there are, two ways to do this for like from what it's coming right now. Probably for those people who gonna hear, it's like I'm always tuning in the space, and there is no rules. There is always shifting energy and timelines. But I'm talking about this question and for this for those people is probably the most important thing is to dream. So basically, if you are like stuck in this ideas, because I've been there, Laura, I can guarantee you've been there. Every one of us, we've been there, where we say, who am I to do that, what I'm dreaming or what I'm wanting, and that's okay, because we recognize basically the system, the programming in us, which is okay at that moment because we still identify at the beginning. But the focus is your power. So if we start to use our vessel, our, as I mentioned before, our focus, our energy, our thoughts, our direction, our attention, this is our greatest power. It's actually it's stronger than any tool behind, because with this we can do anything. We can heal, we can transform, we can change. So we can definitely make it happen. So once we start to dream, this is what it happens. The focus from our stuckness, from our fear and limitation goes into, okay, but what would I do? So ask yourself a question. If I would not be afraid, if there would not be limitations, if no money, no health issues would exist, what would I do then? And that you could ask every day. And it's nothing new. It's just to focus. We need to learn to basically direct correctly our energy, our focus, and this is where the energy starts to feed you. So once we are on the fence, and of course every step we will feel and we will meet any let's say challenge. But this is our focus. Like you, Laura, you could sit on the fence till now, yeah, but you still did it and jumped into this, let's say, insecure and not, let's say, not clear journey that it's coming on the way, and on the way you're discovering everything what's coming, right? So basically life is about that. But therefore we need to dream. Therefore children brings us these memories, because our nature is we are spiritual beings exploring this material world, but we are here to borrow everything, including our bodies, including anything, any possessions we have in this life, including our families, including everything, every constellation. So another chapter is just to remember, even you are great CEO, even you are most known person in the world, but it's just a borrowed moment in your infinite life. So if you want to really, let's say, play with this matter, play with this journey, go and ask yourself, go and dream again, go and transcend the fears, because anyone who is on the other side of the fence, they had to do that. That's kind of inevitable.
This is the moment where I would want to keep silence and say nothing more. Thank you, Leonora. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Agle, for being who you are, for being those creators on this beautiful planet Earth and the universe. The world needs you. We need you. So I truly, truly just encourage, yeah, be the voices of your mission and fiercely create from your purest essence of who you are. Thank you for joining the world record. You made it glow. And I'm literally sure that everyone who's going to listen, they will be swimming in love of your energy. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank
Laura, once again for welcoming us and really opening these beautiful doors for so many souls to come in and get to know each other. Thank you. Let's really grow and glow all together and meet and co-create.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.